Hi folks, welcome back to Math with Captain Rod. Making this video here to provide examples of how to work with sequences described by formulas here. And what we're going to do is, given all these different formulas that describe these sequences, we're going to write out the first four terms of each of those. Alright, so starting with this guy. Now we're going to assume that this starts at n equals 1, and the reason I think that's reasonable to point out is that because when we're setting up formulas like this, n can really start at any value you want. In the college algebra section that I'm teaching right now, the textbook tends to start these at a value of 1, but it's very common as well to start these at a value of 0. So we're going to start out by putting 1 in for n, and when we take 1 minus 3, we get negative 2. So the first term in this series is negative 2. I'm sorry, first term in the sequence. And then we'll put 2 in for n, and we get negative 1. Then we put 3 in for n, and we get 0. Then we put 4 in for n, and we're going to get a 1 out of that. So these are the first 4 terms in this sequence. Take a look at this guy over here, and again, starting at n equals 1. If we put a 1 here, this is going to read 1 plus 2 times 1, which is 3. And I'm not going to write them all out, I'm just going to write out the 1 to just show where I'm getting these values from. But then we put a 2 here. 1 plus 2 times 2 is 5. Then we put a 3. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And then we'll put a 4 here. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. So there are the 4 terms in this sequence, or at least the first 4 terms. Alright, let's take a look at this guy right here. So to get the first term in the sequence, we want to put a 1 in here. So this is going to read 2 to the 1 minus 1, which is 2 to the 0, which is 1. So the first term in this sequence is 1. Then we'll put a 2 in here. Right here, right there. 2 to the 2 minus 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 to the first is 2. Then we'll put a 3 here, and then 3 minus 1 is 2. So that's going to be 2 squared, or, whoops, 4. Then we'll put a 3 here. Whoops, I got to go back and make sure I did that one right. This was 1, 2, I was doing 3 already. 3 minus 1 is 2, 2 squared is 4, yep. Okay, then we'll put a 4 here, right there, and 4 minus 1 is 3, 2 to the third is 8. So here are the first 4 terms in the sequence described by this formula. Alright, let's take a look at this animal. So, again, we're going to start by putting a 1 here. So we're going to have 1 squared plus 2 times 1. So that's going to be 1 plus 2, which is 3. So the first term in the sequence is 3. Next term, put a 2. That's going to be 4 plus 4, which is 8. Next term, we're going to put a 3 here and here. So that's going to give us 9 plus 6, which is 15. Next term, we're going to put a 4 in for n. That's going to give us 16 plus 2 times 4. So it's going to give us 16 plus 8, 24. I'm going to double check that one. Putting a 4 here. 16 plus 2 times 4, 8. Yep, okay. We're good with that one. So here are the first 4 terms of the sequence described by this formula. Next guy. Ooh, I may have to start writing some of these out. We're going to do this one by putting a 1 in for n, starting with a 1. So that's going to read 1 plus 1 over 1, which is 2. Next one, we're going to put 2 in. I think I'll write some of these out. That one is going to be 2 plus 1 over 2. Well, we can either do this in fraction form, or how about we do this? 4, that would be 5 halves. Either fraction or decimals would be fine. I'll go ahead and use fractions. Oops. Putting 3 in for n. This one is going to read 3 plus 1/3. Let's see, that's going to be 9 10/3. Putting 4 in for n. That's going to be 4 plus 1/4. 17/4. Okay, so there's the first 4 values of the sequence described by this formula. All right, let's take a look over here. So we're going to start by getting the A1, put 1 in for n. So this is going to read 1 times minus 1 to the first power, which is minus 1. There's our first value. Then we're going to put 2 in for n. This is going to read 2 times minus 1 to the second power, which is 2. Then we're going to put 3 in for n. This is going to read 3 times minus 1 to the third. Now, minus 1 to the third is minus 1 times 3 is minus 3. Then we're going to put 4 in for n, and this is going to read 4 times minus 1 to the fourth. Now, minus 1 to the fourth is positive 1 times 4 is 4. So here are the first 4 terms in the sequence described by this formula. And I think what I'll do here is just call that a video and start a new one. Hope that this helps with how to generate a sequence. Have a great day.